excited to introduce you to my dad.
I don't know. It's a little too early, don't you think?
It's not. It's perfect. Trust me. This is his job. He's really, really friendly, okay?
I'm a little nervous.
Babe, don't worry about it. You're going to be good. Just be yourself, okay?
I hope he likes me.
He's going to like you. Oh, my God. Papi! Hola, papi. ¿Qué es lo que? Papi, rapidito, este es mi novio. Wait, sí, este es mi novio. This is my dad.
How you doing?
Guapi.
Papa.
Dime ese.
Papi, ¿qué pasó?
Guapi.
Este es mi novio.
You boyfriend, baby?
Sí.
Nah. Why you bring the fucking moreno over here? No, I don't want a fucking moreno over here.
Baby, what are you talking
No,
about? He's my boyfriend. That was the problem.
Get out of here.
Why?
I told you, get out of here.
But what's the problem?
This is a fucking moreno.
So what? It's okay, but I love him.
Wait,
No,
what is he saying?
you
What
know-
is he saying?
You're
No,
black.
shut up.
Papi, you know you're black, right?
No, I'm Dominican. I'm Dominican. I'm not black.
You are black. Like,
No.
there's nothing wrong with him.
Look, my color looks good.
It's the same
This is a fucking moreno. Get
color.
out of here.
Are you serious?
No.
right
You know what? Like, it's
Get out.
fine. It's
Get
fine.
off me.
It's not that deep. You bug it out. Relax. Anti-black Dominicans who deny their blackness came for me in the comment section. And as you can see, they want to be associated to the colonizer and not the slaves. They want to be associated with Europeans and not Africans. And even the white people in the Dominican Republic are the smallest minority, they still want to be associated with Europeans. And the funny thing is that everybody that was commenting is closer to being black than white. And that hurts them. This Empire King guy with the Dominican flag goes to every single video that talks about blackness in the Latin community to basically say the same thing he was saying in my comment section, like 100 comments just by him and another girl that is also a Dominican, a black Dominican in denial. Average Dominican is way more than 50% European. You're not even a quarter. Dominicans, the average Dominican is not 50% European. We have our own country and we don't have to fit to be embraced or accepted like African Americans in the United States. Haitians are literally our brothers. I have no Haitian sibling. Because in the video I said that Haitians are literally our brothers. We share a fucking island. And this girl, Quisqueya, come on, that's what we call our country. And her username is Quisqueya. You can see where I'm going with this one. The answer is simpler than that, but you want to turn it on Dominicans for clout like you always do. I have like 100 other comments from her too, denying her blackness. And she even mentioned something about me being racist towards Mexican and Haitians at the border when I was clearly defending them. I defend Haitians from whatever atrocities are committed against them in the Dominican Republic. And yes, that doesn't make me any less Dominican. I just accept the facts the way they are and I acknowledge when something is wrong, even if it's the country that I was born in and that I grew up in. Something apparently they cannot do because apparently that makes them less patriotic. As you can see here, the majority of Dominican people identify as mixed race, which includes mestizo or indio and mulatto. A smaller percentage of Dominican people identify as black and even a smaller percentage as white. And as you can see, only a small percentage of Dominican accept their blackness. The other ones are black, but they just don't identify as such, because they are a little bit lighter than the Dominican that identifies as black. But the fact that they decide to reject their blackness does not mean that they are not black and does not mean that our country is mostly black. And I'm gonna make another video to talk more about history and why there's this anti-blackness in the Dominican Republic, where I don't have to cite all of these racist Dominicans who are denying their blackness, because honestly, it's tiring. But I'm tired of Dominicans and Latin people denying our African roots.
U.S. Embassy wants darker-skinned Americans may be profiled detained in the Dominican Republic. I got a story time for y'all. So I went to the DR like a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, for a wedding. The wedding was on the 30th of October, so it was not long ago. So the resort we went to was an all-inclusive resort. So, you know, we were getting lit. We were drinking at all the bars at every hour of the freaking day, right? So let me show you what my hair looked like first. Actually, let me get into the story. I'll show that later. So as we're going to the different bars, I'm with different groups of girls. I was with my line sisters and I was with my friend. Now, it's important to note that we're all black. However, I am of the darker complexion of the group. And there are probably a couple of us that were on the darker side, but the particular times I was experiencing this, we were all black, but I was like probably the darkest one. So the people at the bars would be flirting with my friends. First of all, my friends are all cute, so it's not out of the blue. I'm not even trying to be funny, but they were flirting with like my friends and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. Then as time went on, I started feeling like, okay. Then I started feeling like, are they ignoring me? So if you grew up, okay, so I think on my TikTok, I use a ring light, so I look lighter than I am. I'm actually pretty dark skinned. So if you grew up dark skinned and experienced colorism, sometimes you start thinking, am I tripping? Is this like me making this up in my head, or is this what I'm used to? So basically, I start realizing that these people are like either ignoring me, or if I say something, they don't look my way in the midst of them flirting with my friends. So I started feeling some type of way, but I don't say anything because I don't feel like people necessarily understand all the time. And I don't want to be that person that feels some type of way. So this is normally how I wear my hair. Straight, I wear clip-ins. So this particular time, I don't know if it messed up. So I had my hair in a half up, half down, right? And I told somebody I really trusted, and I was like, look, I kind of feel like, I've always heard like Dominicans don't like to be considered black. So I always knew there was kind of like this colorism thing, but I was like, maybe I'm tripping. So I told one of my line sisters, and she says that she read something about straight hair, and like, if your hair is not straight or whatever, they associate as like you being Haitian, and they don't like Haitians or something like that. But my hair was straight, so I was kind of confused. Anyways, fast forward, I feel some type of way. I call my mom. I'm lit. I'm crying. She sends me an article of the resort saying that like there was racism there. It was colorism. Anyways, the next day I end up taking my hair down because of the weather, and I straighten it like middle part or whatever. And I noticed a very significant difference in how I was treated and how they were actually giving me the time of day. All I'm going to say is trust your instincts, because a little bit after that, my line sister sent me that exact article. So I knew I wasn't crazy.
Nigerian, from somewhere in the Caribbean. The U.S. State Department has issued a warning for dark-skinned people, okay? Dark-skinned people such as myself and others. They are saying that all y'all dark folks better stay y'all asses out the Dominican Republic. It's gotten so bad right now. Not only are they trying to forcibly remove the Haitians there, legal or illegal. They want all the dark-skinned Haitians to leave. So if you happen to be dark-skinned, now you might not be Haitian, you don't even speak, what is that, what they say, sake passe? You don't speak Creole. You're just minding your American business. If you are dark-skinned, you are at risk of being deported, hurt, maimed. There have been reports that they are even killing dark-skinned people in the Dominican Republic. Let me go ahead and show y'all this if y'all think I'm lying. So when I tell you that colorism is very real, it is very, very fucking real. This is what is currently going on for all y'all who don't know. For all y'all who want to run down and go grab an exotical, dark-skinned black men, be careful, because you might end up, a lost cause in the Dominican Republic. So the U.S. state is warning its dark-skinned citizens of the Dominican Republic migrant crackdown. So Haitian migrants are being deported from the Caribbean country. Authorities says they are targeting people based on their appearance, okay? So anybody, U.S. officials in the Dominican Republic are warning dark-skinned Americans they are at risk of being swept up in the country's crackdown on Haitian migrants. The advice from the U.S. Embassy in Santo Domingo suggests that authorities there are using a person's appearance as criteria for detention of those suspected of being in the country illegally.
How y'all think this is relevant to how Dominicans identify in DR? I have no idea. This is obviously more relevant to how Dominicans identify in the US. And not to say that Dominicans need to identify the way they are racialized in the US, but in the US, if you present as black, you are racialized as black, and you will be treated as black, and you will also be oppressed like black people in this country.
When you sit there and deny blackness to an African American, it signifies to them that you see blackness as something that is lowly. So they don't feel safe around you and they do not want to be in community with you. Which is why it's important to make sure that Dominicans are not conflating their racial presentation and how they are racialized in the US with their identification. Nobody's asking you to identify as this. We just want to make sure that you're safe and you're not racist.
Alright, I am going to answer this question with some of the information that some of my co-patriots, Cuban patriots, have given me, especially the ones that been fighting for a really, really long time and have basically retired from the fight for freedom in Cuba. Before I say what I'm gonna say, I need to make clear that I am not by any means excusing what was happening in the island of Cuba before 1955, which is when the Castro Revolution started to gain strength and started to get a lot of support from the black community. That being said, I must add that Fulgencio Batista was a mulatto that many whites did not like. Because after the colonial era in Cuba, Fulgencio Batista brought a constitution, the 1940 Constitution, which gave blacks the same rights as whites, which gave women the same rights as everybody else, which white people were not keen of in the island of Cuba in the 1940s. Socialists like to say that under Batista, the black community suffered greatly, and that is not true. The black community has suffered the most in the colonial era of Cuba and also under the Castros. You see, today, 80% of businesses in Cuba are owned by white Cubans, and almost all seats in government positions are taken by white Cubans. With these statistics alone, it will help you understand how the economy works in Cuba and who benefits the most. In Cuba, racism is so internalized and normal that Cubans don't see a problem with saying that I will marry a white man because I want to advance my bloodline and I want my bloodline to be advanced and better. In Cuba, racism is so internalized and normal that the white Cubans legit believe that they are white Europeans. They claim to be from Europe, they claim motherland to be Spain. And when you say that I want my motherland to be Africa, they say, oh, you are just denying the fact that our motherland is Spain. They want even the black community to never acknowledge the fact that we come from Africa. All of this has happened thanks to Castro and his socialist revolution.
Most Dominicans are mixed, and when they say they are mixed, they are not denying their blackness.
Dominican Republic has never had the one-drop rule law, like in the USA. Each country has its own history. So stop enforcing the one-drop rule on Dominican. Please leave them alone.